All right, good Monday afternoon. Motivational Mondays. Christian Klug here in New York.
And Melissa Crockett Willis in Cleveland, Ohio.
And I hope that all of you are having a great day. I know that many states are now starting to open up. I was just looking at a map. It had all the green partially open. Then New York was yellow, still closed. So, but we're close. They're saying maybe the end of the week we might have phase 2, which real estate will be in. But we're making it happen even without that. But we really appreciate all of you tuning in. I realize a lot of you are back to work now and you're busy, so we appreciate you taking the time to spend with us on Mondays. And when we first started Motivational Mondays, Jackie and Opie had reached out to Melissa and I, and we said, absolutely, we'd love to do it. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I don't know what you thought was, I'm like, oh yeah, we'll do this for a couple of weeks, and then it'll be over. We'll all be back to work. And here we are, week 7 of Motivational Mondays, and the way I can keep track of how long we've been in quarantine or shutdown is from how many Motivational Mondays we've done. I think the first week we hadn't done one, and this is week number 7, but we appreciate all of you tuning in, and I really want to just give Melissa a shout out. She's been doing a great job with her bracelets. Let's give a quick plug on the bracelets.
All right, so with our Motivational Mondays, as you know, we have our Howard Hanna Green Penguin bracelets, and it's our E plus R equals O, the event plus the response equals the outcome. Christian and I love getting your emails on what you're doing to stay proactive, some of your success stories, some of the challenges that you're running into, whatever it is. But if you want a green bracelet and you don't have one, please email us with one thing that you're doing to be proactive or one thing you're doing to, as your response to this, and send, don't forget, your home address so we can get this in the mail to you. We sent a bunch out at the end of last week, so if you sent us your address, you should be getting it any day now if you don't have it already. And when you do get it, send us a picture of yourself with it on there, because we're building this community of people that we're going to be, we have a lot of fun with this. So we'd love just building the community of all of our Motivational Monday, proactive agents out there. So we appreciate it. And as Christian mentioned about our week 7 of Motivational Mondays, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is, I guess it's not that bad. Next week is Memorial Day. So you are all going to be having fun next Monday. So we are not going to have a Motivational Monday next Monday on Memorial Day. Take the day off and enjoy it. However, the good news is we will be back for the whole month of June. All of your response has been fabulous. Thank you for asking us to keep this on, and talking to Heidi and Helen and Hobie and Jackie and Kate, because they've asked us to stay on for the month of June. So our next Motivational Monday will be on June 1st, and then every Monday throughout June. So we look forward to hearing more of your success stories, sharing more motivation, and especially having a lot more activity as we start moving forward in this market. So thank you to all of you. We look forward to weeks 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 going into the next month here.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll be here as long as Heidi and Hobie and Helen want us to be, and as long as you're watching, right? So we really do appreciate all you tuning in. And really, Melissa, thank you so much for spearheading those green bracelets. There's something great, even when we're not in a shutdown. We know that real estate has the ability to kind of make us overreact sometimes, and we handle our reactions. So thanks so much for that reminder. So Melissa's been doing a great job too of doing a quick review every time we started. So today, I wanted to do a quick review. So week 1, we did mindset, plan, habit of hard work, a strategy that we have to succeed. We control our mindset, we make a plan, then we put in the work. Week 2 was, of course, E plus R equals O. Melissa did an amazing job on that. Then the 3rd week, I went to focus on how we need to focus in on our goals and starve our distractions and eat the frog and all of that, right? Week 4, Melissa brought it again with the dip. We know that there's going to be that challenge. There's going to be that hard time, and we got to push through it. That was a great reminder. I followed that up with negotiation, We talked about how we can negotiate, know who we are, know who we're working with, and how to be creative to get the deals done. And then last week, and I told Melissa after we chat after every week, Melissa really brought it with 212 degrees. I told her she gave me goosebumps on my arms last week when she was talking about her husband with the football, and I just thought all of that was great. But there's been one thing that Melissa and I have done every week, is we've mixed in some motivation with some knowledge, right? We're not just giving you motivation. We're trying to give you some knowledge to go with it. And it kind of reminded me of this debate that used to go on between Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar. Now, both Jim and Zig have passed away, but the two of them used to argue on what's more important, knowledge or motivation, right? So Jim Rohn would say, well, motivation is more important, because if you're not motivated, then you're not going to go read the books and take the classes and learn. But then Zig Ziglar would say, well, you got to have knowledge. Because if you don't have knowledge, then all you have is a motivated idiot. That's what Zig used to say, right? And so you think about that, and here's what the answer is. What do you need, knowledge or motivation? And the answer is yes, you need both of them. But today, I want to talk just about motivation. And I renamed it as mojo. And if you look up the definition of mojo, it's a little different because it's a newer word. But here's what I think mojo is. If someone's just like got it. They're just full of it. They're motivated. They're driven. What's it take to have mojo? Is this something that is automatic, or is it something that we can create? Is it something that we can intentionally have more of it in our lives? And I obviously believe that it is. And here's where this came from this week. Is 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was last week even, I think it was 3 weeks ago, I sent out on our Mondays, I said, hey, if you have any ideas of what you want us to talk about, let us know. Because now that we're getting to week 4, I've kind of used up a lot of my good material. I got to create some new stuff. So I asked all of you to email me, and I got some great emails, and I got some good questions. And here was 2 of them that I got that we're going to talk about today. And the first one was this. It says, Christian, you seem like you're very determined and motivated. Does that come naturally to you, or do you implement things intentionally that help you keep you focused and driven? I said, okay, that was great. Then I got another email, and this person was friends with me on my personal Facebook page, and I live a pretty, I would say, outward social media life. And this person said, Christian, you seem very dedicated on your runs and your biking and your hiking. What internal motivation and self-talk do you use to stay motivated? And so today, I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about what's the most important thing we need to have mojo. What's the most important thing we need to have motivation? And I always forget to say this. There is a follow along worksheet. It was in the email that you got from Howard Hanna Education, probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So please go print this out. If you don't, I'll try to reference what ones you should be marking down. So the first thing I want to tell you is this. The most important thing when it comes to your mojo or your motivation is your philosophy. It is your philosophy. And here's the definition of the word philosophy. It is a theory or attitude held by a person or organization that acts as a guiding principle for behavior. I read that every morning on an index card. Every morning, I've actually got them right here. I've got all my index cards, and I read them every morning with different quotes and principles and scripture. And one of them is just that. A philosophy is a theory or attitude held by a person or an organization that acts as a guiding principle for behavior. And here's the best analogy I could come up with on that. So I'm a boat guy. I live on a lake. So next Monday, when we're not doing Motivational Monday, it's a day off. I'm probably going to be out on the lake, right? And back BC, before children, right? I'm almost 40 now. My kids are getting older, but before children, my wife and I had a wakeboard boat or an inboard boat. And then we got the just had kids boat, which is the cheaper one. I had to sell the wakeboard boat, but I recently just got a newer boat, and it's an inboard. And if you know anything about inboard boats, is they're different than other boats. Other boats, the engine turns and turns you. But in an inboard, there's a thing called a rudder. And it's this little thing about the size of a piece of paper. It's shaped a little bit oval, and the rudder just turns a little bit like that. And that little change in that rudder takes the whole boat in a different direction. And that's what philosophy does in our life, right? A little change in philosophy changes the trajectory of your life. It changes. And that's where our mojo comes from. That's where our motivation comes from. And so today, I want to share with you 3 philosophies that have been true for me. And now I do admit there are probably hundreds of different ways that people are motivated. Some people might be motivated by money or by revenge, or they want to prove something to their parents who they didn't have a good relationship with. I don't know. And they may work for you, but I'm going to tell you what works for me. I'm going to tell you where my motivation comes from, and it comes from 3 philosophies. And I got these here for you to write down on your worksheet. And number 1 is the philosophy that you are in control of your future. That is the number 1 philosophy, that you are in control of your future. Number 2, the philosophy that you are in control of your attitude. That's number 2. And then number 3 is the philosophy of gratitude, or the philosophy that you have much to be grateful for. Grateful, gratitude, you can use either one of them. So those are the 3 philosophies that we're going to talk about today. So first, let's talk about the philosophy that you control your future. And I got to start this with a story from my childhood. You know, we all grew up, most of us, I would assume, we grew up in America or Western culture. And part of Western culture is just kind of this thing that if you want something, you got to go get it. But one of my earliest memories with my family, I was probably about, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, or 10 years old, and it was dinner time. And we had this cat named Skipper. Now, Skipper, the best way I can describe Skipper is he was kind of a Garfield cat, right? Little fat, little lazy, but man, he was in control. He ruled the place, right? I used to love this cat. Well, one night we ran out of cat food, right? And we're just sitting down for family dinner, and my dad, the cat was meowing, and my dad just goes, Skipper, we'll go get you some cat food after dinner. But the cat didn't want anything to hear about it. The cat just sitting there, meow, meow, making noise. So finally, my dad opens up the back door to the house. It was an indoor-outdoor cat. And he sarcastically says, Skipper, I'm going to go get your food in an hour or 2. If you want something to eat, go get it yourself, right? So he kicks not kicks, but, opens up the door and lets the cat go outside. Well, not 2 minutes later, we're all sitting there having our family dinner, and we look out the back window towards the backyard, and we see Skipper. And if you ever had a cat, cats are natural hunters. And we see Skipper doing this, right? He's in the backyard, he's got the paws, and you see him shuffle real quick and freeze, and shuffle and freeze. And then he does this Jackie Chan, Chuck Norris move where he bolts across the lawn, gets a squirrel, and you can fill in the blank. The squirrel was no more. And by the way, Northville has a squirrel problem, always has. We were just adding to the circle of life that day, right? And Skipper went out there and took care of business. But, I thought about that as an analogy again, that the culture I grew up in with my parents and in our society and our country is if you want something, you go get it. You are in control of your future. And, we're all in real estate. We should know this, right? I mean, for example, when you do a real estate deal, you don't then share that with your entire office. When you close a deal, I bet you're happy that's not the truth. If you want something, you have to go work for it. And this is simple. It's called, you can write this down on your sheet, it's called the law of the harvest. The law of the harvest. And that is you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. All right, the law of the harvest, you reap what you sow. And over time, we forget this. Over time, society and norms, they make us think that we're not necessarily in control of our future. They make us think that there's other things that may impact us. And there was this moment for me where I understood this, and I listened to a CD. Because remember, when I was 8, 9 years old, I don't know if I really understood the philosophy that I was in control of my future. But there was this one point that I listened to this CD, and it's called The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn. And this was impactful of me understanding that I could not blame other things. Jim Rohn talked about, hey, you need to be understanding you're in control of your future. Don't blame the state you live in. Well, if only I didn't live in New York, then I'd be opened up and then I could make more money or I could be successful, right? How many times have you heard people blame the state they live in? Or, if I grew up in a family with money and I had that privileged beginning, then maybe I could have succeeded. Maybe that's your blame. Or maybe the blame is the economy. If only the economy was better, then I'd be able to succeed. Or taxes, or your governor, or the president, whoever it is at the time, Congress, maybe it's your spouse. If only my spouse was supportive of me, then I'd be able to go do all this. All these are a blame list that we're not in control. We need to have the philosophy that you control your future. I am in control. If I want something, go get it. And think about it. If you don't believe this, why go for the run? If you don't believe this, why show up at the office? Why wake up early? Why put in the work? Why tune into the webinar? If everything in life is just a chance, then you might as well sit at home on the couch and do nothing. But the minute you take that philosophy of What I do today will determine my future. The philosophy that you control your future, you get motivated in a hurry because then you understand I am responsible for what my future looks like. That is the first thing I wanted to share with you today is the philosophy that you control your future. What you're doing today will impact what 2020 looks like for you. And there are a lot of agents who are taking advantage of the shutdown quarantine. My coach, Coach James Bell from Buffini & Company, he told me, he goes, Christian, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. It's hopefully never going to happen again that you're home this many weeks in a row, right? Philosophy number one, the philosophy that you control your future. Philosophy number two is the philosophy that you control your attitude. Now, if we go back to MPH squared, mindset, plan, habit, hard work, you heard me talk about attitude, but I got to share with you a story about when Christian Klug had a really crabby, bad attitude, right? So out of high school, I went and got a job at a logistics warehouse for Walmart. So I was going to school in the evenings, and I was working there for 10 hours a day. And if you've never worked inside of a warehouse, let me just kind of give you a little example. It's a building with 500 people in it that's 200,000 square feet with no windows. Now, the last couple of weeks, I've been in my basement office at home with no windows, and every couple of hours I go out just to see the sun. Oh, yes, the sun is still there, right? But when you're in a warehouse for 10 hours a day, no windows, it just does something to you. And after I'd been there about a year, I just found myself getting kind of a crappy attitude, right? And so one day I just said, you know, I don't want to be this negative, bad attitude. So on the way home that day, because I went in at 4 a.m., on the way home at 2 o'clock, I stopped at the local CVS or Walgreens, and I got a bag of Dum-Dums. You guys know what Dum-Dums are? Not D-U-M-B, D-U-M, Dum-Dums, little lollipops, right? So I grabbed the bag of Dum-Dums. It was probably $5 at the time, right? This is back in 2001. And the next day I go in, I get on my forklift for the day, working in a warehouse, and I put the bag of Dum-Dums on my forklift. And as I went around throughout the day, I'd see my coworkers, and I'd grab a Dum-Dum out. I go, hey, you want a Dum-Dum? You want a lollipop? And the first day, people looked at me like, Christian, what's going on? But I just made a decision that I was going to have a positive attitude because I didn't want to be around negative people and I didn't want to be the negative person. So I started doing this. And after a week or two, my bag went away and I got another bag. Within a month, guess what people started calling me? Hey, Dum-Dum, get over here. Now, I don't think they actually were calling me dumb. They just wanted the lollipop, right? But it was amazing how my action to choose my attitude changed my time there. So let me tell you what happened. When I started being positive, here's what would happen. I'd be loading a truck and I'd have one of my pallets fall over, something bad would happen. People would stop and help me clean up my mess that wasn't their responsibility because I gave them a stinking lollipop. I mean, it was the simplest act that I had to choose to be positive, and all of a sudden, everyone around me is positive. And guess what? The negative people just didn't want to come around me. And even the negative people start being positive because I chose to be positive. So here is the line I want you to put down on your sheet here. You ready? Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. It is such a little thing that makes a big difference. And no one controls your attitude but you. You have 100% control of your attitude. So real quick, you might say, well, Christian, how can I do that? How can I control my attitude? Do I just make a decision and, get my magic wand and say, I have a good attitude and that's it? Well, there's three different things that we can do. There's three different things we can do, and I've got them for you to write down here. Number one, stay away from negative people, right? Including yourself. Sometimes I take myself everywhere I go. I don't know about you, but everywhere I go, I bring myself with me. And if I'm being negative, I don't want to be around myself. So just, yes, control yourself, but don't be around negative people. And there are some negative people there. You just got to take them out of your life. Maybe avoid that convenience store that's got the crabby person or the barista that isn't such a nice mood. But the coffee shop with the smiley person, you want to be around them. You want to surround yourself with those positive people. Number two, my dad taught me this phrase. He goes, Christian, it's garbage in, garbage out. What you put in comes out. Maybe you got to turn off the news. Maybe you got to stop watching that junkie show or reading that book that's not helping your mind. I mean, the other day I listened to the news and I was shocked. It was all negative, right? I mean, why was I shocked? I shouldn't have been, of course. So sometimes you just got to maybe get a little bit of intake. I'm not telling you to be ignorant and not know what's going on in the world, but don't put the radio on and just listen to the news for an hour when you're driving around or when you're at home or when you're on your run. Put something positive in your mind. Garbage in, garbage out. And the last thing is this. The last thing is exercise and a morning routine. I can think of nothing better to have a good attitude than to start your day off right. The days that I exercise, the days that I have my morning routine intact, the rest of the day, I am set for the day. The day that I might oversleep or I don't do my routine, I am miserable. Yesterday, I ran a half marathon. I got done. I go, I feel great. Now, before I ran it, I didn't feel so great. I didn't want to. But after I ran it, I was sore, don't get me wrong, but I felt great. Have that morning routine. So number one is the philosophy that you control your future. Number two was the philosophy that you control your attitude. The third and the last one is the philosophy of a grateful attitude, or the philosophy of gratitude. And let me tell you what gratitude is. Now, what I'm going to talk about right now is not meant to make you feel bad. It's not meant to make you feel privileged in any way. It's meant to make you feel blessed, to make you realize how good we have it. And I'm not telling you that we don't have any problems, because I'm sure all of you have something you're dealing with in your life right now, myself included. And we don't necessarily share a lot of that. I mean, some people do on social media, I guess, but most of us, we try to internalize those things. And those people that are close to us, they might know what we're going through. And I'm sure all of you have something you're dealing with. And I've shared with many of you that are closer to me that, I haven't had, my daughter hasn't lived at home with us in 2.5 years. And I haven't even talked to her in 3 months. We had to place her for her own safety. And that's been a challenge. But that doesn't mean that I can't be grateful for what I do have. That doesn't mean that I can't have a gratitude list. So let me run through this with you. Actually, I'm going to give you the example. You might know a guy by the name of Nick, and I always pronounce his last name wrong. It's Nick Vujicic or Vujicic or something like that. I can never pronounce it right. But Nick is the guy, he's a speaker, and he has no arms and no legs. And that's what people know him as. And Nick made this comment one time. I heard him speak one time, and he made this comment. He goes, I could be depressed that I don't have arms and I don't have legs. Or I can be grateful. I can choose to be grateful for my chicken wing. That was his words. He refers to his little stub of an arm as a chicken wing. Because, if I didn't have that chicken wing, I couldn't use a phone. If I didn't have my chicken wing, here's a guy with no arms and no legs, and he has a grateful attitude. By the way, did you ever notice the word gratitude? Grateful attitude? Bet you never saw that one before, right? He was grateful. He had gratitude for what he did have. So let me run through a list real quick that I'm pretty sure 100% of us right now all have this. You ready? I can read. Can you read? There's a lot of people in the world that can't, right? Can you write? I can write. I can read and write. I was grown up with an education, all right? I live in a free country. Now, I know some people might debate that right now, but come on, be quiet. We're in a free country. We do not live in some communist or dictatorship where we can't have freedom. We have a lot of freedom and don't take it for granted, right? Even in these days, we have freedom. If you don't think you have freedom right now, just go on social media and say whatever you want. People might not like you, but you can't, right? We have freedom. Do we have access to opportunity? You betcha. You have all the opportunity in the world in front of you, especially in real estate. Do you work for the best company? Hello, yes, sir, I do. I work for an amazing company. I am grateful for that. I don't have any major health problems. Now, I realize some of you may, but hopefully most of us don't. I am free from major health problems. Do I have transportation? Yep, I've got a car. I've got transportation. I can go where I want. I own a house. Now, here's one I know you all have. You all have an internet connection. That's opportunity right there. I want to be grateful for my internet connection. Friday night, a storm came through our area. My power was out for 12 hours. Now, I have a generator, and what did I do when the power went out? I grumbled and complained. I had to walk out. I don't have the automatic generator. I have the Christian-matic. That means Christian has to go outside and start up the generator. So I fired up the generator, and we didn't have internet for 16 hours, right? And for 16 hours, I'm like, oh my God. But for the rest of the day, I have internet, and so do you, right? I have food, I have family, I have friends, I have a good manager, broker, co-agents. Go make your gratitude list. And that's the thing I want you to have here. The last thing I want you to write down is make a gratitude list. Make that, and don't just make it here. Write it down. Start writing down your gratitude list. And quickly you will realize, man, I have so much to be thankful for. Your attitude will improve. And then you'll say, look at the opportunity I have. Maybe I should go do something with that. What would my grandfather from New York City, drove a taxi cab at 11 years old. right? He worked in the Brooklyn shipyards. He worked in the shipyards during World War II. And the few stories he did tell me, man, I never had to deal with that. But what would my grandfather think of my opportunities? What would my great-grandfather Killian Klug, came over here from Germany in the late 1800s, what would he think about my opportunities that I have? I should be so grateful for this, and I should be motivated to do them. So I've had 3 things for you. I've got the philosophy that you control your future, the philosophy that you control your attitude, and the philosophy of gratitude. Make a list and just go, oh my goodness, I have so much to be thankful for. Now, I do want to give you a little bit of homework, a few things I want you to do as you leave from here. So number 1, I want you to go buy the CD. It's Jim Rohn's The Art of Exceptional Living. Now, what's interesting is this is a 2 CD set. I went on Amazon this morning. There's only a 6 CD set for $40. I only have the 2 CD set. And if you'll notice, there's 2 CDs and one of them's not there. You want to know why one's not there? Guess where it is right now? It's in my car because I listen to it all the time. So go grab the CD. It's an instrumental piece in my staying mode. I listen to that. I can't help but not be motivated, right? Number 2 is this book. And I've talked about this book before, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Powerful book. Auschwitz survivor, went through the Holocaust. You read this and suddenly you say to yourself, what am I complaining about? I should be full of energy and optimism and motivation to go do some things. And the 3rd is what I just said, was to write down your gratitude list. And I really mean that. Don't just say, oh yeah, that's a great idea. When you get done, or if you need to right now, I'm not telling you to log off, but if you need to, do it and write down your gratitude list. Or just wait 10 minutes until we're done and then write your gratitude list. It really write down what you have to be thankful for. Now, once again, this seminar today was all about what motivates me, because that's the question I got from a number of you. You said, hey, Christian, how are you motivated? What keeps you getting up in the morning? What makes you be internally driven? Now, I love this phrase by Jim Rohn, and this is going to be the tag for you to keep coming back in 2 weeks to hear Melissa, and then in 3 weeks to hear me, since we're off next week. And here's what Jim Rohn says. Jim Rohn says, motivation is like bathing. It doesn't last, so do it daily, right? Because some people say, well, why should I keep going to Motivational Mondays? I'm too busy. I don't have time, right? Motivation's like bathing. It doesn't last, so do it daily. So if you notice today, I didn't have any slides. And there's 2 reasons I didn't have any slides. Number 1, I was telling Melissa, we've been really busy in New York despite the shutdown, and I just didn't have time to get it all done. But number 2, I didn't want to be distracted by slides. Sometimes as speakers, when you got slides and PowerPoints, you end up not speaking as much from the heart, and you end up speaking more to your slides, which is good because it keeps you on point. But today, I really wanted to speak to you from my heart, because I do consider myself a pretty motivated person, but it is something that I have to make a decision on. And people have challenged me to be motivated. Guys like Jim Rohn, authors like Viktor Frankl and Man's Search for Meaning. I saw someone just asked for that name of that book. Make that gratitude list. I'm excited for how motivated we can all be. And I'll be, this might sound arrogant, but I have to say it, like, as I'm saying this to all you, guess what? I just got a little motivated, because I'm still negative sometimes in my life, or I'm still a bit of a pessimist sometimes in my life. So I hope today you've all been motivated by this. I'd like to turn it over to Melissa now, see if we have any questions or discussion points we want to go over.
You a pessimist. I have a hard time believing that, Christian. Yes, we did have the person who had asked about the book. If you can hold that up for another minute or just a couple of seconds to hold that book up so they can write that down. Also,
Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Perfect. So that way everybody can write that down who's interested in that.
And I read this real quick. I read this book every year. So I've read it about 4 times. And I only read the first half. The second half goes a little bit more scientific because he was a psychologist. I read the first half, which is just his account in Auschwitz. So I read it every year, and I get done reading it, and it kind of gives me a little bit of, get off my feeling sorry for myself stage,
Excellent. So a couple of things. We have some questions here on the Q&A too. So the email address for the Green Penguin bracelet, you can just send it to melissawillis@howardhanna.com and make sure to include your home address. And we put in the chat too to start the gratitude list right now. So I love to see some of you put it in the chat, some of you put it in the Q&A, but some of your, your gratitudes, that you're healthy, that you live in a safe house, that you have a spouse that loves and supports you, that you have your faith, that you have your family, that obviously, yes, we are supported by our company. And I agree, Howard Hanna has been totally off the chart with being above and beyond. Speaking of that, I received a call this week from an agent from another company who was like, can you just please tell me what's going on? She was with a small company actually out of our area, and said, it seems like you guys have so much communication. I can just tell by your post, but I'm not hearing anything from my company. What are your thoughts? What's happening? What guidance and advice do you have? And I think this is something that is just coming so naturally and sometimes on overload for all of us, but it is so grateful just to be overly communicated with. So I agree, that's amazing. And grateful for my kids, grateful for my granddaughter, grateful for the, love the Motivational Mondays. Thank you, we love them too. Grateful for our kids, for our good health. Love that, love all of your gratitude. So we didn't want to wait until after the call. We thought we would start, right now, and thankful for the husband who works his heart out to ensure our family is never in need. So yes, continue to make that a gratitude. David put in the Q&A that he makes that his self-meeting every day. So he wakes up with his self-meeting to have his gratitudes every day. So I think we are, all on the same page here. So, it's very exciting. Christian, we certainly appreciate you talking from the heart, absolutely. And, I think that with, and it seems like here, all of the people who continue to join us and continue to write on these chats right here, have a lot of that same grateful attitude right now. And it's a matter of continuing it, and it's a matter of spreading it too. So I think one of the things is, it's, as Christian shared his thoughts today, it's like, okay, who can you share your gratitude with after the call, so that maybe they will pass it on as well. And we continue to, just to have the trickle effect through everybody that we meet and come in contact with. And I think that is so important. And again, we are looking forward to, having you in June. Christian, anything else here?
I think the only thing I was just kind of thinking of as you were talking through is a phrase I've heard over and over by different speakers and trainers and whatnot, is that, 6 months from now, you wish that you had started today, right? Whatever it is, whatever you've been procrastinating on, whatever it is you haven't been motivated enough to do, if you're trying to lose weight, trying to make your business better, trying to get this house project done, I love all the Facebook memes I've seen because of COVID-19. And I think my favorite one was the one that says that they felt bad for all the husbands who told their wives they would get the list done when they had time. Because now they have time, and guess what? They're still not getting it done because that wasn't the real reason, right? So look, we're great salesmen as realtors, right? Salespeople, saleswomen, salesmen. And we can sell ourselves to not do something pretty quickly. Wednesday, I took a couple hours off Wednesday morning. I went hiking with my dad, and I could have found 101 reasons to not go. I'm too busy. It's the middle of the week. And, we were going to go Saturday before, but it was bad weather. So I ended up working late the night before and working a little more the day after to make up for the time. But I was able to go have a hike with my dad on Wednesday morning, up a mountain, left at 4 a.m. And just don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself on why not to do things. Just do it, right? You know it, and just be motivated, but don't keep procrastinating. Don't keep putting it off. Start today.
Absolutely. And, I'm all about, having a support group and having that network. And I think that the way that our company is, where we have our managers, we have our peers, from a larger standpoint, like I said, we have, the whole support of Howard Hanna. But I love the network that we're building right now with the Motivational Mondays. And I think it is great just to see a lot of the support. And we are going to start bringing to you in June just some of the tidbits and some of the shout outs to some of you on the things that you're doing. And we really appreciate, again, you sharing with us. So even if you've already received your green bracelet and you just want to share something good that happened, boy, email us. We'd love to hear from you. So keep sharing it, because we want to, in turn, pass that along so we have that trickle down effect, because, we're all in this together. And Christian and I certainly feel the bond with all of you, and this sort of ties us together as well.
Yeah, we super appreciate your emails. They're encouraging to us, so please keep sending them.
Well, perfect. So again, take Monday off. Make sure you do, I'm not talking today, next Monday. Take next Monday. Yes, and do something, take that walk on the, in the park or whatever it is, something that's even going to, bring extra gratitude towards you. And we will be back here on June 1st. And tell a friend, bring a peer, have somebody else join us. So make a commitment. Put it in your calendar every Monday for the month of June at 1 o'clock. So, because it'll be important to keep this going. But we look forward to starting the week off with you every week, and have a fabulous week. I know you will, because you'll make it so. So thanks to all of you again for joining us on Motivational Monday. Have a great day. Christian?
Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks, Melissa.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.